Hey everybody, this is a quick guide to the FVG Scalper. I will put it on the graph right now and we'll have a quick look at the inputs. By understanding these, it should hopefully explain how to best use this bot, and I'll talk you through some of the features. Now, just to explain at a conceptual level what this bot is, it is a way of automating fair value gap trades in an EA. Specifically, it's looking at very big gaps, which you can set the definition of what that is counted at, and then basically going long if a bar is very big and it's a gap, or going short if it's very long and it's a gap as well, and trying to take advantage of this dynamic. We often see when the price actions move very quickly, the market typically will retrace. It's an extremely common pattern, and this is a way to take advantage of that. Now, it's always easier said than done, and this needs a lot of customization and thought behind it. But if you're trading this manually and you want to get away from manual trading, kind of free yourself up so you're less stressed, you're making less mistakes, and you can focus on other business adventures or getting into algo trading, then this might help you out. And right now, this bot is a bargain. It's very cheap, and that will not last forever, I'll be honest with you. Now, how to work this? First of all, auto lots. This just dictates are you using percentage risk or fixed lots. If it's on false, it's fixed lots. Obviously keep these as low as you can, especially if you're on live trading account, but please test this on demo first, always, please. Okay, next thing is, are you using the FVG Scalper? Because this Scalper gives a few more things than just FVG as a little bonus to everyone who buys this. So true is normally where you want it to be. This dictates the minimum wick size. So if the wick is if you want it to basically buy only when there's a small wick, which is typically how I do it. If it's a very big wick, I'm much less likely to want to buy on an FVG. But when there's a very small wick, it's actually very tempting, because typically these get bought up straight away. So this is customizable. Minimum body size suggests it's basically how big the candle should be. If you're wondering what type of candle it is, you can dictate that by the graph you put it onto. If you put it onto a 50-minute graph, it'll be a 50-minute candle. If you put an hour graph, it'll be a 1 hour candle. So you need to pick the right graph to put this onto. That has to be said. But minimum body size for maybe a 5-minute candle will make sense for 5, but for an hour, this obviously has to be different. And then the gap is basically the gap between the close of a bar and the last bar of the same value. And this is where we talk about the fair value gap. This is the number of maximum orders. I recommend having this at 1, but you can play with this if you so wish. And then take profit gives you a lot of customization. So you can either have it as the previous candle high or low. So this is where the full gap is closed. And you can add a buffer to this. So maybe it's a full gap minus 1 pip or 10 pips, or whatever you wish. The other option is to have it as a candle percentage. So let's say the candle retraces by 50%, boom, take your profit. The other option is to have an ATR value and a ratio of ATR, or you can have it in pips. You've got a lot of customization with this tool. And these are all relative to that, which method you pick. Stop loss, very simple. You can have it as the same as take profit or a multiple of it. So you can make it like half the profit. It depends on your risk reward ratio that you want to have. So my recommendation is to have it at 1 or less, basically. With these sort of scalpers, that's the minimum I'd suggest. But again, do your own backtest, do your own research. You have the power to decide with this bot. You can also use an ATR or in pips as well. ATR periods you can set here. 14 is typically where I have it at, but some people have it 21, some people have it different areas. If you're very knowledgeable in trading, you'll know what I'm talking about here. And that's it. This will set in place your fair value gap, and depending on how aggressive you are with the settings, it might be triggered once a day, twice a day, maybe just once a week if you're just looking to catch very extreme movements in price action. But generally speaking, this needs a lot of playing around with. It's somewhat experimental. I will post more videos in the future with, let's say, backtests and more information. You'll find one signal I have that's live which uses a variation of this, and I share the settings in the signal, but there's a lot that can be done. And if you have any recommended settings, share them with me. The bonus is this. So we also have a scalper for the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. How does this work? Basically, if you get to daily low or daily high, you can set it to basically do the reverse. So if it's some daily high, it will basically short the market 5 points before it gets to the daily high, and then take a profit of 10 or stop loss of 10. This is a very basic bot, but it's a cool one, and we very often notice at a double top on the daily, the monthly, the weekly, we see sellers, and at the double bottom we see buyers. So this is a way to take advantage of that. It's easier said than done. It's you need to know what you're doing here, but I'm pretty sure there'll be people who will find very profitable strategies just using this on its own. But consider it's a mini bonus for those who have faith in me. It's not the main purpose of this bot, and I haven't been doing as much testing, back testing with this, but it is a cool feature to have. Break-even settings, I think self-explanatory. Trading settings, same deal. If you want a trading stop for any of the bots, any of the positions, you can turn them on. And I've basically got magic numbers for each aspect, so you can understand where the trades come from, why, and you can basically do good analysis of the bot results. That's me and out. Please test it in demo mode first. If you've got any feedback or thoughts, please let me know. And you can also check out my other bots and signals on MQL5. My objective here is to always be open, transparent, no BS, no scamming, creating bots that actually do real things. They're not doing some martingale or something that's tricky, that's not been explained. This is a real bot. And like any real bot, it can lose you money. So you have to do this at your own risk, I'm afraid. If you can't take a loss, you shouldn't be in trading. I'm sorry to tell you. And I've learned this the hard way. I'll stop talking. Check it out. Let me know. Cheers. Bye.